Okay, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, right? We're going to jump right into it. This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. It reads, Yahweh Shai, the example, right? Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Right? And that race that is set before us is us trying to achieve salvation through Yahweh Shai. Right? Doing all that we can right now, in hopes of pleasing the Lord, that we be, found in his good graces. When he brings the destruction, when he brings the judgment, that we be the ones taken out of harm's way. Verse 2, looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. Right? So Yahweh Shai, he endured the cross. He endured his race already. And now he's waiting on us to complete ours. And during a race, right, during this race comes many temptations, comes many trials, comes much tribulation. Scriptures speak about him that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And just as Yahweh Shai sat on the right hand of the throne of the Most High, right, we want to endure unto the end so that we can sit on the right hand of Yahweh Shai, right, being joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Right? So I was looking into this word temptation, right? It goes into the word peirasmos, basically going into like a trial. Peirasmos, an experiment, attempt, trial, proving, the trial made of you by many bodily conditions, since conditions served as to test the love of the Galatians toward Paul, the trial of man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, constancy. Temptation, i.e. trial of the Most High by men. Temptations, right? And when you go further into the word, here, peirazo, to try whether a thing can be done, to try, make trial of, test, for the purpose of ascertaining his quality, or what he thinks, or how he will behave himself, after the OT usage of the Most High, to inflict evils upon one in order to prove his character and steadfastness of his faith. Right? And that's basically what this temptation is, what the tribulations, right, we have to face getting through this race is about. It's the Lord testing you, testing your faith, testing your works, and putting it to the test, right? Seeing what you're made of, Verse 11, it reads, Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast. Salakia. Verse 11 again, Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And we look into this word fast. Hold that fast. It reads krateo, to have power, be powerful, to be chief, be master of, to rule, to get possession of, to become master of, to take hold of, take seize, to hold in the hand, to hold fast, not discard or let go, to keep carefully and faithfully, to continue to hold, to retain of death, continuing to hold on, to hold in check, restrain. Right? And what is it that we need to hold fast of? Right? We need to hold fast of our faith, hold fast of our belief in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and continue to walk in fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai through the tribulation, throughout the race, right? Enduring. When you endure, it's not something easy, right? Endurance always comes with something that you cannot wait for it to be over, right? We cannot wait for this world to be over. We're enduring this world right now, right? Waiting on the one that Yahweh Shai is going to put in place. You know, when you're running on a treadmill, you're enduring it because you're tired. It hurts, but you have to keep going. You have to reach your goal, whatever that be. And we have to reach our goal. We have to finish the race. But again, that comes with many temptations. There's a lot of different temptations, but you know, the main one being that MOTB, the mark, which is the FID, micro CM. No matter what anyone else tells you, that's what it is. And no matter what you've ran, how far you've ran, once you take that, the race is over for you. There's no crossing the finish line, you know. But it also reads that no man take thy crown, right? What crown? The crown promised to those who endure. The crown promised to the believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai upon holding that belief unto the death, if that, you know, be their calling. This is Revelation chapter 2 verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, right? Temptation, trials, tribulation, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life, right? So being faithful unto death that's a really, you know, an important thing, because that shows that you fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai above anything else. And that's really all it boils down to, right? So dying could be a part of your test, you know. And let's say, right, we're in a times of greater tribulation. Nothing seems to be going your way, right? It seems like the Lord isn't even with you, right? And you find yourself about to die, and because of that, you lose faith, right? You lose faith. You give in, right? You give in to the let's say the MOTB, right? Because that's the end all be all. Because it seems like they're about to kill you. It seems like the Lord isn't here, you know, to protect you. So you give in. When that is not the way, man. Scriptures say, keep the faith until death, because you have to remember, it's all a test. Maybe the Lord is having it feel like he isn't with you, right? As a part of your test. Maybe you been put to death. It's the final part of your test, right? And you just failed it because ultimately you feared man more than the Lord. See, but when you truly fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai, you know that it's vain to fear man, because the Lord is in control of everything. This is Psalms chapter 27, verse 1. A psalm of David, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai, is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? So the Lord is your light and your salvation. Through the Lord determines whether you make it out or not. No one else. So where do you put your fear? In him. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai, is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Right? And that's an easy question. It's Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai. The Lord is the strength of your life, meaning, again, he determines whether you die or not, right? Deuteronomy 32 and 39. Let's grab that real quick. It's Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Right? So putting your fear in anything other than Yahweh Ba'ashem Awashai, you're doing it for naught. Because nobody can deliver out of the Lord's hand. If he wants you gone, you're gone. Right? Taking an MOTB is not, it might prolong your death, but it's not going to stop it. And ultimately, if you were slated to die anyways, you might as well die for the Lord, man. Because then, as we read here, and I will give thee a crown of life, right? You're going to be raised up. You're going to have a crown, have that dominion in the kingdom, being joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. That's what he said, if you were faithful unto the death, right? The Lord is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. So that's what's going to happen. So again, things could be going in a way where it seems like the Lord isn't even with you. But that could just be Satan, in your mind, tempting you, because temptation is not just outwardly. If you think about it, really, it's more inwardly, right? In your mind, because 9 times out of 10, when you sin, when you go off, it's all formed. It starts from a thought in your head first, right? But those who truly have faith on Yahweh Ba'ashem Abishai know that he's always watching, right? And he's always there for his people, man, his elect. Lord willing, we be of that number, right? See, Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Have not I commanded thee, be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Abishai, thy power is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Right? Whithersoever thou goest. It didn't say I'm only with you until you go to work. I'm only with you until you go to sleep. Nah, for those who believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Abishai, the Lord is always with them, man. Even if it seems like he isn't. Again, that could just be your test. You could take Job, for example, right? The Lord had everything taken from him. The Lord watched Satan take everything from him, right? The Lord knew what was happening. The Lord let Satan do it because he knew what type of man Job was. He knew the faith Job had, right? He knew the fear that Job had for him. So this is the book of Job, chapter 1. We start at verse 6. It reads, Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord Yahweh, and Satan came also among them, right? The sons of the Most High, that righteous seed. And the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Abishai said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Right? So the Lord's like, where you coming from? And then Satan basically like, I've been causing hell on the earth. Making, guys sin here and there. Just pushing out wickedness on the earth. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? Right? So the Lord is the one who presented Job to be tempted, man. That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil. Right? So the Lord exalting Job, man, saying, you try to tempt this guy over here. He walks in my ways. He fears me. Right? There ain't nobody like him on the earth. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear the Most High for naught? Right? Basically saying, well, let's continue. Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. So Satan's basically like, yeah, of course he fears you. Look what you've done for him, right? He has all this land. He has a nice house, right? He has riches. Basically, his life is good. So of course he's going to fear you. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. Right? So I bet if you take that away from him, he's not going to fear you then, right? He's going to curse you to your face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So the Lord's like, all right, bet. I know my servant. I'm going to let you take everything away from him, right? And I know he's still going to fear me, right? He's still going to have faith in me. But you see how the Lord let it happen? The Lord watched it happen, and it could be the same predicament you're in. But you're over here thinking that the Lord isn't with you, all because you're about to be put to death, all because you just been catching hell left and right. Nah, man, the Lord's watching. Let's jump down to the 20th verse. After basically Satan did what he did, right? Took Job's kids, his cattle, so on and so forth. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, Naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord Yahweh Shemawashai gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord Yahweh Shemawashai. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged the Most High foolishly. Right? So after Satan had taken everything away from him, he still reverenced Yahweh Shemawashai. He didn't blame Yahweh Shemawashai. You know, he still showed that faith that the Lord knew he would show. And that's how we want it to be for us, right? We want the Lord to be able to tell Satan, oh yeah, you could tempt him all you want, right? I know he's still going to have faith in me. We want the Lord to have that confidence in us as well, right? And that's how you got to look at it when you're being tempted throughout this race, right? The Lord is looking at you as a soldier, man. One of his best. That's why he's tempting you like this. And he expects you to make it through. He knows you're going to make it through, man. Because if you have faith on him, he's going to put the spirit on you to make it through. And that's the way we have to think. That's why scriptures speak about wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Because it's having that mindset that's going to get you through, man. Get us to that finish line. But again, right, it really boils down to, is your fear of the Lord greater than anything else? And if it is, then you have nothing to worry about but Yahweh Shemawashai. If you're scared of the Lord more than man, then they can do whatever the hell they want to you. You're not going against Yahweh Shemawashai. You're not going against your God. Because we know what they can do to you ain't shit compared to what the Lord can do to us, man. And that's why scriptures speak about the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Right? Let's go grab that. It's Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. We'll start at verse 5. The Lord, Yahweh Shemawashai, is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, right? As we just said, and strength of salvation. Salakia. And strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shemawashai, is his treasure. Right? Let's look into this word treasure. Awatazar, treasure, storehouse, treasure, gold, silver, etc. Store, supplies of food or drink. Treasure house, treasury, treasure house, storehouse, magazine, treasury, magazine of weapons, Most High's army, storehouses, snow, hail, wind. Treasure, treasury, garners. Right, so basically in treasure. Right? I can't really think of a synonym right now, but the fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? And treasure, you know, when people think treasure, they think of, well, glory that's hard to find, right? Normally people need a map, you know, the map doesn't even work. It's you're trying to find the treasure, something that's lost, that if you find it, right, can lead you to riches, can lead you to wealth, can lead you to joy, so on and so forth. But the thing is, the fear of the Lord cannot be found, man. The Lord has to give it to you because it's a gift. You know, this the Lord always talks about how he's coming to bring a division on this earth, right? And the greatest division in history will be between who his elect are and who isn't. And you'll be able to tell by the fear and the faith that the elect has on Yahweh Shemawashai, man. It's a treasure that cannot be found, right? You can't just go search for it and find it. Nah, the Lord has to open your eyes. The Lord has to give it to you. So let's go to the book of 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter chapter 1. It reads, a living hope and a sure salvation, right? Verse 1, Peter, an apostle of Yahweh HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, right? And these strangers scattered are Israelites, right? They're Israelite foreigners, Israelites living amongst the heathen. Verse 2, elect according to the foreknowledge of the Most High the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. Right? Because the glory is already there, man. The Lord knows who his elect are. He already has the kingdom prepared for them. We just have to make it there, right? We're playing out the road to it, right? We're walking the path to it, man. It's already there. We just got to get to it. Verse 5, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, right? So kept by the power of the Most High. Again, the Lord is going to put the Spirit on his elect to endure, man, no matter what. Verse 6, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations. Again, through manifold trials, through manifold tests. Because as we read in Hebrews 12 and 2, Yahweh Shai endured his time, man. And he gained his glory. He gained his dominion. He gained his spot at the right hand of the Heavenly Father. We have to endure ours in order to gain ours. Verse 7, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai, right? Might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai, because scriptures speak about man's work being tested, right? To see what type of material it is, to see if it's, precious stones, to see if it's wood, to see if it's hay, to see if it's stubble, to see if it's gold, to see if it's silver, right? And we want ours to be that gold. We want ours to be that silver. We want ours to be the precious stones. We want our testimony to be pleasing unto Yahweh B'Shem Shai. Let's go to there. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 3. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, right? Which is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Now, if any man build upon his foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, right? That fire being what? The trial, man, the temptation. And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward, right? And we want our work to abide, man. We don't want our work to fall or be burnt up through the temptation, right? When the Lord tries our character, tries our faith, tries what we're made of, we want to exceed his expectations, man. Even though I know that's not really possible, the Lord's going to know, but you get what I'm saying. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward, right? We want to receive that reward. The glory, the kingdom, the dominion, the crowns, right? Just being in the kingdom of righteousness, just being with our God, just being with, Yahweh B'Shem Shai, it's all worth it. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Means to say, right, basically, right, you barely escape. It says, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire, as in, right, you barely escape through the fire, man. You got through the fire, but your clothes burnt up and shit, so the Lord probably kicked your ass. He saved you, but it could have been much easier for you, because remember, the Lord remembers what you did for him, right? That's why it says every man's work, right? If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved. Because again, the Lord remembers what you've done for his name, right? And as Hebrews 6. This is Hebrews chapter 6. Verse 9. It reads better things for you. The subtitle is Hebrews chapter 6, verse 9. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that accompany salvation, though we thus speak. For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have shewed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister, right? So the Lord's not going to forget what you've done for his name. And thing is, right, it says shewed towards his name, right? As we just read in 1 Corinthians, that foundation is Yahweh Shai, right? And you got, for other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, right? So the Lord's not unrighteous to forget the labor of love that we showed towards the names Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. You've got men who don't even call on those names, people who don't reverence those names. They're already out the picture, you know? So where it says, if any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. It's only speaking about those whose foundation is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which most people aren't, man. So they're already out of the picture, right? Shows you how important it is to have that foundation, because without the proper foundation, the building crumbles, right? You might be able to build, but sooner or later it's crumbling. So you need Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Let's finish off in 1 Peter. When we read verse 7 again, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, right? Because that's what it means to have faith, right? Pertaining to Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? And I love that scripture because it's just so profound, man. And that just goes to show you that this ain't no damn white man's book, right? People love to say, oh, you believe in white man's book, so on and so forth. White man was not smart enough to create this book, man. Where were we? Whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. Right? Because through faith and belief on Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, we in turn save our own souls, right? By the Lord doing it, because we had that faith and belief on him. Now let's get, we can close it out here too, in the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 2, verse 5, right? Because it mentioned being tried like the fire, right? This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 2. We start at verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, prepare thy soul for temptation. Right? So the Lord already told us what the deal was. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Right? Cleaving unto the Lord continuously, as it says, enduring and pleasing Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, so that by the last end we be increased. Again, going back into the Lord, putting the spirit on his elect to endure, man. Right? The Most High giveth the increase. He turns your spirit up, man. That's why sometimes, or I think it's in the book of Matthew, right, where it says that when they deliver you up, right, in the face of kings and nobles and princes, give no thought to what you may think, For it's the Lord, Yahweh Shem Abishai, that's going to speak, roughly paraphrasing, through us. Because the Lord's going to put that spirit, man. He's going to give that increase. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient without our change to a lower state. Again, going back to you catching all this hell, and it might seem like you're finna be put to death. That doesn't mean you lose faith in Yahweh Shem Abishai, right? Because it seems like he's not with you. You being put to death might just be your trial, man. And really, right, if you're about to be put to death for the Lord, that's the most important time to have faith. Because you're gonna want to be raised back up, right, to everlasting life. You gotta have belief in that, man. Verse 6, verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? Gold is tried in the fire, and gold endures that fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So here the Lord's already telling us, right, or telling his elect, right, Lord willing to be of that number, that they're compared to gold, right? They're compared to the gold, they're compared to the precious stones, right? For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. He already likened them unto the gold, man. We just got to get through the fire. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Right? Again, we run in that race. You don't want to go off to the side, go off to the left, go off to the right. You don't want to slow down. You want to push forward, right, as best as you can. And uphold that faith, uphold that fear, and uphold that trust in Yahweh Shem Abishai. Because again, ye that fear the Lord, man, the fear of the Lord is a treasure. We've already been given a treasure that not many people have. Who do you know has a treasure chest, finds a treasure chest, and willingly gives it away, willingly loses it? No, they find that treasure and they guard it, protect it with their life, right? And that's what the Lord said to do. Be thou faithful unto death. Meaning you believe so much that you even die for this truth. Your belief in Yahweh Shem Abishai is worth more than your life. And that's ultimate faith, man. But with that being said, I think I'm gonna close it off here. Lord willing, this video was exhorting and uplifting in some way, shape, or form, especially knowing that soon we will be in those dire times of trouble, right? Yeah, we're already in the midst of Jacob's trouble, but it's only going to get worse, right? Scripture speak about it being a time like never before. There's been very, very bad times on this earth before. So if it's something like never before, you're going to need Yahweh Shem Abishai to make it through. That's the only way you can make it through, right? I've been seeing all these videos with the humanoid robots, these shits hitting backflips, uppercuts, and fucking shadow boxing. Bro, it's crazy, man. But the only way to make it through is with Yahweh Shem Abishai. So with that being said, and once more, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and keep pushing.